How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here, young Trayvon, to represent some of the black youth that are unjustly prosecuted, shot down, convicted, and profiled. The situation with Trayvon Martin, this was a civilian that stalked him and shot him down. This wasn't a police officer. So, I mean, that should be, the main issue. That wasn't a police officer. Trayvon Martin wasn't stopped in the commission of a crime. He was on his way home. This was a watchdog, deputized, whoever embraced him to do whatever it is. He wasn't even in a position of power. So don't even worry about that. But like I was saying, he was stalked and shot down. That could have been any kid. And this is a collective effort for all of us to come together and address some of the problems within America. I really don't know what to say because this is a little bit more moving than I had anticipated it to be. Because I got kids, two teenage boys myself. And I die in this suit if a threat is posed to them. So, and I love all mine. All y'all that's out here supporting mine, I love that. White, black, Mexican, Filipino, I love all y'all, man. We got to work together to change this. And that's my take on this, man. Let's get it together. This is America. The greatest nation on this planet. Check yourself. We can get it together. It's not about money. It's about equality and unity.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Kalra. I'm a council member here in the city of San Jose. And I'm just happy to see so many of you here today to speak up against this injustice. And, the Trayvon Martin case is one case, but it's symbolic of what's wrong with the system that we have here in this nation, particularly when it comes to the justice system. Anyone that's been paying attention will know that the justice system is inequitable in how it treats its citizens and those that come before the court system. And I'm someone that worked for 11 years as a deputy public defender. I've been in City Hall now. This is my 5th year in City Hall. And the one thing that seems apparent to me is that, as the pastor mentioned, complacency is one of the greatest problems we have here in this nation. It's creating some of the greatest wealth disparities this nation has seen in over half a century. There are more black men in prison right now than were in shackles during slavery, at any point during slavery. And we need to talk about these issues, but the first thing we need to do is get out of denial. This nation has never truly dealt with this race issue. And rather than simply taking one case at a time and justifying one case, justifying one incident, let's look at the cross-section of what's happening in this nation. Let's see who it is that's getting jailed. Let's see whose schools are closing. Let's see who's being sent to war. This world in 8 days spends as much on war as it would take to end hunger worldwide. So it's much more than one case. But I think this case gives us an opportunity to speak up. It gives us an opportunity to come together and to not stop with this issue, not stop with stand your ground, but to expand on this and let's stick together. Let's not allow the powers that be to divide us. But that's all too often what happens, is that we get divided and we lose momentum. We're excited right now. We're pumped up. We're angry. But we have to manifest that into something that's positive, into positive change. Many of the things the pastor said about education, about voter registration, that's all true. But we can't let this stop here, and we have to understand what role that each and every one of us plays in this game that we have here in this nation. Because, I'm someone that, yes, I'm an elected official, I'm a Democrat. I will tell you this, though, that whether you're a Democrat or Republican, so much of the power structure of our political parties are owned by corporations. When it comes to limitless amount of money, and what do you think they use that money for? They use that money to stay in power. And there are not enough courageous people that are in elected office that are willing to give up their seat once they have it. Once they have it, they change, they'll compromise their principles to keep and hold on to that power. And we have to change that, and the way we're going to change that is for us to continue to stick together to continue to motivate each other and to not give up. And most importantly, there's a lot of young people in here. All of us have to make sure we guide these young people, because they're the ones that are going to be the leaders. They're the ones that are going to be the ones that truly change, because it is not going to happen overnight. So don't be here just to see if there's civil rights charges filed. Don't be here simply to get justice in one case or on one issue. Be here for the next year, 10 years, 20 years. Because this is a battle that's been going on for generations, and it's not going to end. And they're going to make sure that they're going to continue their battle against all of us. So we have to stand up and protect our children and protect our communities. So thank you.
My name is Sharon Willis. I've been a resident here for the last 22 years. I have 2 sons and 5 brothers. When that boy died that day, it might as well have been my son too. I cried all day when that verdict came in. We paid too much for too long. 400 years. Hard work, my people, for this nation. You know, I walk across the street for a jaywalking ticket to San Jose TV, and I say, wait a minute, I ain't do nothing wrong. They handcuffed me, patted me down, and told me prostitutes have knives on them sometimes. Female! The policeman told me this. I couldn't wait to run home to call the police on the police. That's what I do now. I call the police on the police. I call the police on the police. And all I wanted was justice. But you know, you don't remember. I was 13 years old back in the day when they was burning up everything in America. Everything we could touch, we was setting it on fire. We ain't got to burn it down no more. But fight back. It's my turn now to give back to you what they gave to me proudly, 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 proudly. Only in America. But if you don't fight back, they will walk on you. You better fight back in America.
My name is Fred Hirsch. I'm Vice President of Plumbers and Fitters Local 393 and a delegate to the South Bay Labor Council. I passed out a resolution that we passed last week demanding that the Attorney General prosecute Zimmerman for criminal civil rights charges. The Zimmerman verdict further directly endangers every African American and every person of color. It's a basic challenge to democracy, to us all. Coming just a few weeks after the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act, this denial of Trayvon Martin's basic human right to life betrays the promise of the 1960s civil rights movement, of Reconstruction, of the Civil War, of the Declaration of Independence. This racist verdict by a stacked jury took place in the southern heart of American slavery, where the legacy of lynching is thrown down the rope and picked up the gun, where exploiters are enabled by a twin heritage of racism and anti-unionism enabled by divisive stereotype and embedded white privilege. It's wonderful that people are in the streets all over the country in protest. But if we do not build our protest from individuals in the streets to form or join organizations which will empower us all, we will miss this opportunity. If the Zimmerman verdict enabling racist violence to rule stands, we are all in danger. If the federal government does not take a stand to convict Zimmerman for this racist murder, they'll throw the doors wide open to vigilante violence and a police state. We must not rest until freedom rings with actual and equal liberty and justice for all, or we will see the promise of America consumed in a police state. The only solution is to organize for a broad, united struggle that will guarantee human and civil rights and make liberty and justice for all not just stagnant words, but actual fact. That broad, united struggle must include the diverse cross-section of people who make up our nation and the organized working class, the trade union movement. We must demand federal intervention and the arrest of George Zimmerman on criminal civil rights charges, demand a strong Voting Rights Act that applies to all in every state, and eradicate the new vigilante lynch law they label Stand Your Ground. In today's struggle to vindicate Trayvon Martin's human right to life, it's part of a long struggle for equal human rights of African Americans, immigrants, all people of color, and for all workers the right to organize. Until the killing of black mothers' sons is as important as the killing of white mothers' sons, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Organize, organize, organize.
So my name is Yen Yen. I'm from Anakbayan of Sillicon Valley. We're a comprehensive youth organization here in Silicon Valley and connected to the global international movement of the Filipino people. We're a national democratic organization, meaning we are fighting against the imperialist forces, feudalism, and bureaucrat capitalism happening in the Philippines, oppressing our people. So I have a brief statement from Anakbayan. Right now, all of the Filipino community is gearing up for our people's State of the Nation address against the President's State of the Nation address happening tomorrow. So they all can't be here, but we are here in militant struggle with all of you. The Filipino and Filipino-American youth of Anakbayan, Silicon Valley denounces the release of George Zimmerman, the murderer who shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. The youth of Anakbayan, Silicon Valley stands alongside the tens of thousands of community members in calling for legitimate justice for Trayvon Martin. The case of Trayvon Martin severely impacts the security and safety of Filipino and Filipino-American families throughout the United States. Filipinos and Filipino-Americans are a racial minority in the United States and are often discriminated against by others simply because of the color of our skin or our different body features. The Martin case serves as a grim reminder to all Filipino youth that we are constantly under risk of being racially profiled by the U.S. law system. Members of our community are targets of such racial violence, such as the custodial family who was assaulted and tasered by police officers in San Jose in 2007. The injustice of Martin's case connects back to the struggles of the Filipino masses because it reflects the institution of repression and impunity that controls the Filipino people. Our fight to the end of systems of oppressions in the Philippines extends to the combating of the injustices that threatens all Filipino and Filipino Americans. As Anakbayan youth, we must remember that this form of repression, we must take action and empower our communities to fight against inequity. We are currently also working on a campaign, and we stand in solidarity with all community members all across the globe to combat this injustice. Thank you.